Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to reveal my top growth stock to buy in November. I know investing in growth stocks has been a brutal endeavor here in 2022. Hopefully 2023 will be a better year. If you want to get started early buying stocks right now to get ahead of 2023, it could be a good idea. However, I do expect continued volatility for growth stocks in the near term as the Federal Reserve continues to raise interest rates. So investing in growth stocks over the long term can deliver excellent returns for investors who have patience, but you also need risk tolerance because growth stocks can be a bit more risky than um, slower growing, companies that have already reached maturity and they have stable cash flows. Growth stocks may be more volatile in their earnings and cash flows, and so for that reason, stock prices can be more volatile as well. With that being said, let's get into what is my top growth stock to buy in November. Airbnb is my top growth stock to buy in November. The worldwide travel facilitator has seen its revenue jump from 2.6 billion in 2017 to 6 billion in 2021. This is despite the pandemic happening in 2020 that really crimped travel demand. Operating profit margin turned positive in 2021 at 9%. And remember, worldwide travel is still significantly below the level it was in 2019. Even though it's rebounding strongly, it was still $550 billion below the level it was in 2019 in 2021. We haven't yet got the figures for 2022 yet. It's likely to be higher than it was in 2021, but most likely not above 2019 levels just yet. So there's going to be a few more years of increasing pent up travel demand that will occur before we eclipse the 2019 levels, and Airbnb stands to benefit from that increasing trend because of its asset light business model. Unlike traditional hotels and resorts, Airbnb does not need to build new towers, new buildings, new hotels to take advantage of this rising consumer demand. All Airbnb needs to do is convince folks like you and me to list their extra rooms in their homes, in their apartments, as a rental on Airbnb. Or maybe you've got a summer home, maybe you've got a vacation home that you can list on Airbnb during the days and weeks and months that you're not using it. So that is how Airbnb can grow, is by utilizing unused space that there's so much of around the world, right? So many people have a two-bedroom apartment that may be only using one bedroom, or a three-bedroom apartment but maybe they're only using two bedrooms, or maybe you've got a home with a garage that you can convert into an Airbnb rental. There's so many ways that Airbnb can encourage folks to increase supply on its platform and have Airbnb capitalize on an increase in demand in travel. That said, there are risks with investing in Airbnb stock. One of them is that cities and localities can increase regulations that are preventing folks to list properties on Airbnb. As you might imagine, if you're living in a neighborhood, you don't want your neighbor to list their property on Airbnb. You don't want all of these new folks coming in and out, and you don't know how they're going to use the home. Maybe they rent the home for the weekend and they throw a party there all weekend. And of course, you don't want that happening in your neighborhood. You would prefer the homes in your neighborhood be occupied by homeowners and not be listed as a property on Airbnb. So you're going to complain to your local politician and say you're not happy with this. You want them to pass some kind of regulation preventing this from happening. So that is a risk for Airbnb. And the second risk I note here is that there could be falling discretionary spending. Of course, travel is not a necessity for most people unless you're doing business travel that is required. For most people, travel is discretionary, and if the economy enters a recession, they could pull back on this discretionary spending and overall travel demand could fall, which could hurt Airbnb in the near term. Okay. That said, Airbnb stock trading at a price to earnings of 59 and a price to free cash flow of 45 is about the lowest it's been in the last year or two. Now, admittedly, this is a very brief history of information to compare historical valuation to, but just looking at it, whatever information we have, it's, relatively at its lowest price in the near term. And of course, it is a growth stock, so growth stocks are risky in and of itself because they're investing in growth. Cash flows are unstable, profits are unstable. There's brief histories of cash flows and profits, and so you have to take this with a grain of salt. But nevertheless, Airbnb is my top growth stock to buy in November. All right. If you've gained any value from this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. It'll help me create more videos like this one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next month. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for all investors of all skill sets and risk levels. So I'm proud to partner with the Motley Fool to bring you 10 stock picks from their popular product, Stock Advisor. Stock Advisor has beaten the market by more than 3 times. Go to fool.com/Parkev to get your 10 stock picks now.